Hi, I'm Dr. Libby Kemkaran and this is part 5 of Tame Your Brain. Today we're going to be talking about how those first needs integrate together and why we need to be a little bit careful of the next one that's coming up after we talk about these. We're also going to be talking about HEPGECKL. And no, I didn't just sneeze, it's a technique I'm going to teach you which is super useful and one that I use as a frame with my clients. So let's get back to our kittens. I've got another glamorous assistant today who's going to be helping us do the official kitten stealing. Hi Mama! So here are the babies, and as you can see they are doing beautifully. Suddenly getting a lot stronger. We've got a little pair of legs waving at the end. They're really beginning to swim around the box. They're moving really well. So we'll be able to see that in a bit once we get Mummy out of the way. So we've covered certainty and how massively important that is to be secure. We've talked about how we also need variety and something to look forward to, and that's like holidays, fun, social events, plans and goals, and as you well know, we don't have many of those in the book at the moment. So this links to the fact that we also need connection, and how as social animals it's not really a want, it's a need. We're human chimps, and the phrase social distancing is just not sustainable for us unless we think about it more as physical distancing and then reframe it and put energy into finding ways to connect with people that matters to us. And I urge you to go and connect. Did you do it? Did you do it? I really hope you did. And let me know, because I genuinely care. I am, as I said, a connection junkie first and foremost. I notice who's watching, and I love seeing the same names, although part 1's now had over 1,000 views, so I've lost track of that one a bit. But Laura, Francis, Ali, Elaine, Claire, I see you watching regularly, so do let me know how you're doing. Really grateful you're tuning in. And if you're watching with kids, comment which kitten you'd like to see and we'll do our best to show you that one. We'll still have one unnamed kitten who we need to give a name to as soon as possible, so you can help with that too. So I've mentioned a couple of times that we usually have a hierarchy, and depending on which of the needs are in your top 2, you may be able to see what someone's hierarchy is. For example, if you've got certainty in your top 2, then you probably have a pension, life assurance. Maybe it's important to you to know what's going on and you plan everything to the letter, what you do in response. And what's interesting is we can also use the jobs we do as vehicles. So I work with one senior vet who is in emergency medicine, and that terrifies me, but the extreme and unrelenting variety is for her a way that she can use her skills to prove over and over again that what she knows, she thrives in an uncertain environment because it allows her to use her need for certainty, and she's trained her whole life for it. The next need is for significance, and this will engage with tomorrow's. It needs careful handling, a bit of a double-edged sword as I said, but hugely important for some people, and others it doesn't register, yet they still have this same need. They just find different ways of meeting it. And it's about the fact that you matter and you count for something. And for some who are stay-at-home mums, being a brilliant mum is where they feel significant and they feel connected and valid and worthy. I'm working with some other high-flying ladies who right now are struggling at just being a mum, because to them it's not enough. And I'll come back to you more on this tomorrow. It's a really interesting phenomenon. And when we begin to look at people's life strategies, and if I'm helping someone who's a bit stuck, a bit jaded, or a bit anxious or confused or burnt out, and once I've done some work with them to rediscover, what's holding them back, who they really are beneath all that crud that life wraps you in, and I help get them unstuck and build that compelling future they feel they've lost and start to sort of redesign their life. It usually starts here with working out what matters to you most. What are you triggered by? What's important? Because we forget, right? And life happens, and especially now more than ever in this crazy time, it's really easy to become a human doing, not a human being. And that's, it's not supposed to be about what you do all day. And this is where the rising understanding has led to mindfulness opening up as a way of life. Being in the now, being present, being grateful. Isn't that resonating so much these days? And aren't we suddenly hugely grateful for the little things? I've got written at the top of my homepage, my website, when everything in the world is uncertain, what's important becomes clear. And I love that so much. And what's important is really clear now, isn't it? And I gloried in my girls and these kittens, and got to be honest, today they spent an inordinate amount of time trying to put the bigger Duchess kittens each into a Sylvanian car. And I'm so grateful for these little moments and the photos that I'm getting of these little moments. And it's super clear to me how lucky I am right here, right now. So my task for you, following this, is to do a little bit of gratitude this week. I'm going to use this as a frame up with my sort of view to getting your wiring firing in the right way. I'm going to give you as my top tip this HEPGECKL. So it's a series of questions I ask myself when I go to bed at night and when I wake up in the morning. It's the first thing I do before I even really open my eyes. I try and do it as often as I can. I've got a rule, it must be once a week. And that rule is, it's Sunday morning if I've not done it before then, but I try and do it as often as I can. So you start with the H and you ask yourself, what am I happy about? And that can be anything from, I found the last packet of spaghetti in my cupboard, that's probably the last one in the Western world. Or it can be, thank goodness it's Saturday and I can stop trying to pretend to have any natural talent as a teacher. The E is for what I'm excited about, what am I looking forward to, because there's going to be something, there's got to be something, even if it's only what are you going to eat. P is what am I proud of, and G is what I'm genuinely grateful for, and often for both of mine it is my gorgeous girls, but sometimes I can focus on an actual event, like for example today I delivered training to a massive team of pharmaceutical colleagues, each in a totally different location around the UK, and hello MSD if you're watching, and thank you for listening, and I managed to almost run to time, and that's an achievement for me. And I was so grateful for them for running the tech so seamlessly, which allows me to keep teaching people, because that's my passion, can't live without it. And E is for what energises me, what do I need more of today? C is what am I confident in? K is what do I know, what am I sure of? And I'm sure you veterans here now know that I'm priming my brain to find some certainty in this on purpose. I'm firing up those circuitries that are about certainty, because we need that in our life. Firing strengthens your wiring. Keep using your brain as a pathway, and it's like exercising a muscle. And then finally, L is for who do I love and who loves me, because that's one of those important things that becomes clear, isn't it? So let's take a nice big breath in after that little brain wander, because as I'm talking, you've got mirror neurons that are firing off in your brain, and you will have been subconsciously thinking through that little mapping, and I hope it's made you feel good. And I hope you take a moment over the next 24 hours, because if you don't use something in 24 hours, guys, you probably won't use it. So have a little go. And now let's ask my glamorous assistant to bribe a cat, and we'll see if Queenie responds as quickly as she did yesterday. Kitty food? So with Queenie out the way, checking in. Brilliant. Thank you, Edie. So we've got our little Fat Fairy bundles, and we're going to try and grab the one that we haven't grabbed yet, which I think is the one on the right, Evie. Ken will no doubt get stitched up. Oh look, well done. So here we have our last one. Hasn't really got a proper name yet. We've just called it Mini Queenie, and because it looks most like its mummy, and it's doing very well not to be shouting the house down. Tiny little eyes are still closed, ears are still closed at this stage, so it can't hear us. It's doing lots of sniffing, if you can see its little nose is going 10 to the dozen, and it's got a real little fat body now. Look at it go. It's doing great. Brilliant work. Thank you, Evie. So as we wrap up today, and thank you guys for watching, please do sign up for my news on my website, as I'll be making some slightly longer, more sort of slides and webinar based training around this that I'm doing for free in this time of need. It'll be about specifically dealing with anxiety and specifically dealing with stress release, so if that's something that is important to you and something you want to do. Also, I'm doing a money mindset webinar this Thursday night for Vets U. That is also free, and if you click on my website link, I think it should be on screen, kemkaran.com, should be coming up. I think you can click on it. If not, just type it into your search bar and you can get on my news list, and then I'll send you news of these things as they happen. So we're going to wrap it up for today, and again, just try and be kind to yourself as we go through this weird time, because it's really important to do what you can and let go of what you can't, and don't stress about those things that aren't your natural flow and that aren't your wheelhouse. And for me, homeschooling is definitely not something I'm interested in taking up as a career. Thanks guys, stay well, speak to you tomorrow, bye.